and read the book to us. Every day. He took attendance. Okay, so he knew what he was doing. All right. He took attendance, and attendance mattered, and he sat there and he read. Okay? On the one hand, you can look at that as somebody, that's commodity, you look at that as somebody doing something other. But what I want you to do is I want you to see that as a relational generation of a social world that we all agreed to. For whatever reason, good or bad, status or otherwise, power or otherwise. The reason I sat in there is because my nerve pack was on high and I wanted to grade. And so I acquiesced. But I was much a part of the generation of that social world in that classroom as I was in the other classes that I had that had the wonderful interaction and the wonderful dynamic where learning happened because it emerged at the moment from the classroom. The opportunities for quality of communication comes from taking advantage of those opportunities to create meaning with others. Now, I can't think of a better way of demonstrating this notion of the relational and the notion of this, the inexorable link between individuals and how that creates meaning that emerges from the relationship. I can't think of a better example of this than country music song titles. And I'll share 4 with you, and I can give you. And I want you to think about the backstory on these. What I love about these song titles is the backstory is sort of, you have to listen to the lyrics and all these are part of the story. So just look at these titles and just imagine the relationship situation that must have happened for these to emerge. I'm so miserable without you. Like having you here. I went to a conference one time and I got a postcard and wrote this on the postcard and mailed it to my wife. Not so funny. I thought it would go over better than I did. How can I miss you if you want to go away? Now, but I really want you to appreciate, you get the connection here. I can't miss you unless you go away. We are even in being separate, we got to be together on this. And so there's a what we call those dialectical tensions in relationships. If the phone doesn't ring, it's me. All right. There's a great one which we'll talk about in just a second in terms of the lasting impact of the meanings that we generate with other people. John Gray, the founder of our speech department, in his lectures in his class, he used to use this example, which I thought was brilliant, which was, he talked about the idea that we are always communicating with each other, and just the mere presence of people, meaning gets generated. But then he would say, even the absence of a person can generate meaning. So when I teach this idea to my students, we take a break, and after the break, nobody comes back. You're not here, but you're conveying a very particular message to me. So even in absence, we're connected, and social worlds get created from that. Why do you believe me when I tell you that I love you when you know I'm going to lie? Right? Hey, don't blame me. There's a great example of relational history and what it generates in terms of the social worlds that we live in. I want to show you this clip that I think also, we think about other examples of this relational connection where we're able to change a social world because of our connection to another person. Those moments that happen where we can intervene and do something different. That random act of kindness, right? Where the unexpected thing that we do that just sort of changes a person's perspective or changes the way they make sense out of the world around them. I remember years and years ago, as a faculty member, walking down the main sidewalk, and it was late in the afternoon, and there was a young woman, a student, that was about, I don't know, maybe 100 yards maybe in front of me, and she fell. She just fell. Just like we all did, just tripped and fell. The books went out. And so this is me. This will give you some great insights into what my world was like. So I'm walking down the sidewalk now, and she's falling. And I'm getting closer to her, okay? And I'm actually having this conscious thought as I'm getting near her. I'm thinking to myself, Hemphill, you've got 2 choices here. One, you could stop and help her, which would be the appropriate thing to do. But in stopping to help her, you're going to then validate for her that you saw her fall. Which might be a terrifically embarrassing reality for her to come to grips with, and that might create a social world that she doesn't want to be a part of. There's a social world that she's an oafish, clumsy person. And I thought maybe it would be better if I just walked by and pretend like I didn't even see her down there. I'm so deep in thought that I didn't even notice you had fallen. And I get to preserve a social world between the two of us in which you remain an agile, coordinated individual. Okay? I thought those were my two choices. It's amazing that I thought that was a choice. Just you step over like she's not even. And ladies, I stopped and helped her with her books. Try to make some joke. I fall all the time. Efforts to create a social world where she wouldn't feel so bad for being so clumsy. So think about the choices that we make in conversation that influence the social world. And so, I don't know, just play when I get to it, but so I'm going to show you a clip from the original BBC Office. And the background on this is a group of people, and actually the background on this particular scene is that there's a situation in which there are two offices in two separate cities. One of the people that heads up those offices is going to be selected for a promotion. And whoever gets selected as promotion, a lot of the people in their office are going to be fired because they're going to consolidate. The individual you're going to see here is the office manager, and is so incompetent, even he realizes there's no chance he's going to be selected for this position. And so he's already made a big deal about the fact that he doesn't want the promotion because he doesn't want his people to be fired. They're like a family, and he just couldn't bear to have any of them fired. So his boss is visiting to share the news about who's going to get the promotion. And I'm going to go up here. I hope this works.
Maybe I should just take him round to rival companies, just hand him out. Good point. But could you just write it down?
Tell me. Can you just stop it?
Yeah.
Who's she?
They know their job's going to be on the line.
Now, I know I promised you some kind of answer today. I don't think it's the one that you were expecting. Firstly, I'm moving on.
You'll be fired.
No, I've been made into a partner.
They've made you into a partner? So that'd be Wood, Hogg, Taylor, Clark. That's mental. I've changed the stationery.
Yeah, I think we might get a discount though as we're in the business.
40% sometimes.
The point is, David, my job is now available, and the board thought that either you or Neil should take over the role. I can tell you now, the board have voted 5-2 in favour of you taking the job.
Vote me, 5-2. There's only 7 on the board, isn't it? So it's 5 out of 7.
Now I did...
That's a landslide.
David, you've always made it very clear that you're 100% committed to your branch.
That's probably why I got that.
You do understand that if you take on my job, Neil will stay in Swindon and your branch will be downsized and incorporated into his.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you're very loyal to your family here.
I'll be loyal to his family, loyal to all the whole family. It's one big family.
Yeah, I'm just sensitive to the fact that you have strong, let's say, emotional ties to your team.
Well, yeah, but there is the emotion as good in business syndrome, sure. Notwithstanding the cruel to be kind scenario.
I'm sorry, David.
Well, you're not looking at that whole pie, Jenny. Word of Hog is one big pie. And if they've let me in charge of that one big pie, I'll be in charge of the pie and the people that are through. And
I don't have time for the pie thing,
you don't want it. I'm saying, yeah, okay, I'll take the job. Please.
Good. Okay, well the first step is to meet with Alan and the board.
Yeah. What's the final percentage?
70%?
71.4. So,
Call Susan and arrange to meet the board and finalise all the details. Well, congratulations and good luck.
yeah, you don't need luck when you've got 71.4% population.